what is up, guys? This is Young Music Podcast. I'm Will.
Sam, what's up?
And I'm Dylan.
And today we are going to be talking about our top 10 hip hop albums of all time. But before we get into that, our viewer retention, the length they watch our videos is not very long, so we're going to get this out of the way at the beginning instead. If you end up enjoying this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for your support. So let's get into it.
And this is our personal beliefs.
Yeah,
not
personal.
Not trying to say it's factually. It's just what we think is the best hip hop that we have heard. It doesn't. It's impossible. There's no the top 10. So don't get triggered if your favorite hip hop stuff isn't on here. There's tons of stuff I couldn't fit in here that I listen to all the time.
Facts.
So it's
Yeah.
All right. Webcam. No webcam boy, if you want to go first.
Yeah. I have to go first.
Yeah, you're going to go first.
Also, wait, let's get a quick little news update in. Playboy Cardi, of course, didn't drop
Oh, yeah, let's
a
talk.
lot of red.
Okay, so.
He didn't drop a lot of red, but after trolling us the entire weekend, he went completely silent on social media, and then he finally posted something on Twitter, and no caption, nothing. It's just a picture of him dripping in some drippy clothes. So, who knows when Whole Lot of Red's coming out. Drake just dropped. Haven't heard that yet, but Will, you've heard it, right?
I have heard it. So
I've heard it.
this is the best
Oh, my
thing
goodness.
Drake has dropped in a while. I've listened to it about 3 times all the way through. I skipped Pain 1993 the second 2 times. That song sucks. But
That song does suck, bro. It was overhyped.
it was. So, but I've listened to everything else 3 times, and it's the best thing since 2015 for Drake. Best thing since If You're Reading This Is Too Late. It's definitely better than Views. Not definitely. It was.
Never thought you'd say that.
It was
bro.
moderately better than Views, because Views is like a 6.5 to 7, and this was like a 7.5. They were close, but this was better. And then More Life and Scorpion had no good songs, maybe one on the entire
No
album.
good songs. It has
30
songs.
It has 25 or 30 songs, and has maybe 2 good songs at most.
I mean, if you
in
drop
your
an album
opinion.
long enough, of course, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 songs.
And then More Life had a handful of songs,
All of the songs are bad on the wall.
but
Every song on the wall is over a 9.
We ain't talking about the wall.
Yeah,
Let's
Alright.
go.
and then
Let's go.
yeah, More Life had a handful, but really wasn't anything special, so it was good. What did you think, Sam?
Well, Drake is pretty hit or miss for me. I really liked Demons.
I really like that song.
Demons is really hype. It's really good, but nothing else really really heavily stuck out to me. It just, I don't know, bro. Drake
Chicago
it's not
freestyle.
really my style, but yeah, I mean, it's decent. It's just, it's not really my, I'd always rather listen to someone else, but
Yeah.
a lot of people think he's just
I-
God's gift.
I would
Yeah.
I'd agree for the most part. 99% of the time, I'd rather listen to someone else. There's a handful of Drake songs I really like, but most of his stuff is just it's cool to listen to once or twice, but I'm not gonna it doesn't have the replay value that a lot of other artists have.
Yeah, it's I mean, you're not going to go out of your way to listen to it, but if it's on in the car, you're not going to be
Yeah,
oh,
it's it's not a skip, but it's not
Yeah.
ooh, I gotta listen to Drake.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
let's
Top
get into
10
this.
hip hop albums, personal opinion. Go.
No webcam going first, and just so we could get this out of the way, this is not in any specific order.
I have a
I don't
specific
know.
order. He's the
You
only
guys
one. We
have-
both have specific
We're in
orders.
Specific order.
I couldn't really rank them in specific order, or it would take too much time. I don't know.
Couldn't spend an
Some
extra
some
10
of them are
minutes.
just too close. It'd be too controversial.
It was tough. All right, go ahead.
Was-
All right, so this one is probably, if I had to rank it, it's probably up in the top 2. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye. That's definitely up
By
there.
who? I'm sorry. I don't.
Yes.
I've never heard of that album.
Oh, you never?
Kanye who? West?
You may
He must be
no,
new, underground.
Kanye South.
Which Kanye? Kanye East.
Yeah.
East. I
for my
thought you said
second one,
Weast.
for my second one, also not in any specific order. I started listening to this album probably a couple months ago. I find it really good. Ready to Die by Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. Pretty fire. Also, okay, now this one is pretty controversial. Another Kanye album. I have 3 Kanye albums on here, by the way.
3?
Yeah. I put Yeezus on here.
Nope.
Had to.
I'm a
Oh no, man.
yeah,
I don't know, bro.
I'm a Kanye stan, and I only have 1 Kanye album on here.
Well, I guess I just stan him harder than you.
I guess so, bro.
Dylan doesn't even listen to Kanye.
I almost put 2 on here, but I decided against it.
Every time I put Kanye on, Dylan's like, turn it on.
That's just as a joke, bro. I actually fuck with Kanye pretty hard.
Everyone likes Kanye.
But
my dad likes Kanye, bro. Like,
let's see. I put the Black Album on here. Jay-Z.
interesting choice. I respect it.
Fucking, that's probably one of my favorite Jay-Z albums, in my opinion. But some of them are pretty close.
It's one of your favorites, in your opinion.
All right, now this is also gonna
You gotta be so careful, like tiptoeing. Nah, I don't.
All right, so my last Kanye album, okay. Oh, Graduation. No, I'm just...
I was about to.
No,
I was about to take a stroke, bro.
I was too, bro. That album sucks.
Jesus is king.
Y'all can.
I listened to this album about a week or 2 ago, and I found myself coming back to it. And that's gonna be Life of Pablo.
Yes,
you said you listened to it a week ago, and now it's in your top 10 hip hop albums ever.
No, I started I gave it like a full listen. Like I've heard songs from it, but like I mean I don't normally.
That's my favorite.
Listen to an entire album, really. But I find myself coming back to Life of Pablo.
I love the Life of Pablo. That is my favorite Kanye album all time, hands down. I stan that album, bro.
And of course, shit. I listened to this whole album whenever Sam showed me it. Can't even remember how long ago it was, but Run the Jewels 2.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice. I didn't even think about that. That's a good album, though. I like that album.
This one is, this is just kind of a classic. It's still a relevant album today. Straight Outta Compton, of course. I like so many songs off that album.
Classic. It's a classic.
It is.
I mean, I don't know, bro.
Alright, now we got alright, before I get to the Kendrick albums, this is probably gonna be the most hated on one right here. Alright. Y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm putting in Paul's Boutique by the Beastie Boys. Yeah.
You what?
Laugh. If you haven't heard the album,
you couldn't even pick their best album?
Oh, bro, Paul's Boutique.
That album's not that good, but okay. It's your top 10. It's your list, like.
Yeah, I know.
All right, then I put honestly probably just the best Kendrick albums, the ones that I really.
The best Kendrick albums. He has 4.
The best one, Damn,
yeah.
I really like that album. It's not his best, but I really like that album.
No, that's not on my list. I put To Pimp a Butterfly. I mean, I've listened to it a couple times through, but it's not something that like you want to listen to all the time. But
that's facts.
Overall, it's like a really good
disagree.
hip hop album. Okay, shut up.
I listen to it all the time.
I agree partially. Like, there's a few songs that I listen to like weekly at least, but most of the album I'm not really listening to that often. But there's like a handful of songs that I'm just like I'm listening to like all the time.
Nah, bro, I'm just like, this dick ain't free. Yeah, bro, I love that song.
And
Go
then
ahead.
Mad City, Good Kid, Mad City. I mean, I listened to that album probably 3 or 4 years ago. Love that album. Probably that's gonna be controversial. Probably my favorite Kendrick album is Good Kid, Mad City.
That used to be my favorite. I think this might still be my favorite.
It was my favorite until I actually listened to Pimp a Butterfly, and then I was like, oh.
I think it's still my favorite.
No, but my dad, I've tried to get my dad into To Pimp a Butterfly. He stands Good Kid, Mad City, which is fine. They're different vibes. Like,
Yeah.
I
To Pimp a Butterfly is just way more like, I feel like, flawless.
it is.
Like, it's
My-
just it's I don't know. It's
You guys are
have to,
gonna-
like,
you guys are about
yeah,
to you
we'll
about
just let him keep talking.
you
Go
guys
ahead.
you guys about to scream, but my friend gave To Pimp a Butterfly an 8.
I mean, anything less than a 10 is just it's a joke.
I could see
Like,
a 9.5. I feel like I could understand that. But
But
it
an
almost
8.
breaks the scale.
But an
It almost
8?
breaks the scale for me.
like
That's kind of
I told him that mental illness is not a thing to joke about and he needs to get help, but we'll see.
I mean, that's how I feel whenever Pitchfork gave Lateralis a 1.9 out of 10. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Not even a 2. It's a 1.9.
It's not good enough to be a 2.
Alright. Was that the last album you had?
Did you count to 10?
I'm not very
Yes.
fluent in counting, so
I never passed that. I never passed first grade.
nah, bro. I graduated online math, bro. I don't
All
know
right.
anything.
So
Online kindergarten.
Dylan, that was
Yes.
an interesting list. So
Hey,
Sam,
that's just my personal opinion.
since we ranked ours, I think we should go 10 to 1, so like reverse order.
Okay.
So do you want to go first?
I'll go if you
All
want me
right.
to go first.
You can go first if you want. That's
I'll
fine.
go ahead. All right.
Let's get the bad
So-
opinion out of the way first.
All right. So at my number 10, I have 808s and Heartbreak. It is my personal favorite Kanye album, and it's
I was debating between putting that and Yeezus on there, honestly.
Jesus, better.
not only is it a great album, but it paved the way for so much of the music that I listen to now. Like, so many of the new rappers cite influence from that album. You know, Lil Uzi. I'm pretty sure
JPEG Mafia.
Tra-
Travis.
Travis, yeah.
Yeah, JPEG Mafia. Like, it changed the music industry, and this man did it just off the top of his head, pretty much,
This-
bro. Like
Kanye's
he got
changed.
his heart broken. He got his heart broken by his mom dying. Then he got his heart broken by his girlfriend breaking up with him at the same time. He took a freaking like drum machine, like a bass, machine. I forget what it was called. It's like a huge
I know what you're talking about.
bass machine, and he just took that and just sat down and just said, "I'm just make the album with this." And then he just banged out it's like it's sonically stripped down,
Yeah.
but it's cool because when you think about it as just him and that machine pretty much, and him just like putting out what he had on his mind, that's just so cool to me. So that's why it's in there. It's maybe not perfect, but it's really cool in my eyes. So I have it at number 10. Number 9, this is the only trap album that I have on here. It is Astroworld by Travis Scott.
No.
Okay.
I should have put 1 through 10 Rodeo.
Yeah, um, I usually like when I talk about like top 10 best hip hop albums ever. I usually don't include trap because it's like it's so different than hip hop. But like, I had to put this on here because I feel like it's the best trap album. In my opinion, I can't find anything wrong with it really. The production is flawless. The songs that most of all of them hit. Like I would say, there's not a single bad song.
Personally,
It's just like it's
I was just gonna say personally, there's a couple that don't hit for me, but it's a good album.
yeah. For me, all the songs hit. There's no like, yeah. I don't listen to Sicko Mode that much anymore because it's overplayed. But like, bro, it's just I've never heard an album like it before. Like it's just so trippy, and like the vibe of it carries throughout the whole thing.
And to be clear
And
for all,
it sounds like a vacation almost, like to where he's
to be
to Astroworld, obviously. So
to be clear for all the Fortnite
yeah.
stands watching our video, Sicko Mode is a good song. It's just overplayed.
And I was listening to Sicko Mode the night it came, not the night it blew up, the night it came out. So
Me too.
I mean, I remember when Astroworld dropped. Like I wasn't on the hype bandwagon once Sicko Mode blew up, but yeah. So that's enough for Astroworld. At number 8, I have Kids See Ghosts.
That's a really good album. I almost put that.
Kanye and Kid Cudi. It's short and sweet. It's an unbelievable attempt at a first record, like for the band, for both him and Kid Cudi. Like they just banged out, in my opinion, a 10. There's not a single flaw with it. It's just like it fills so much, and I think it's like 22 minutes.
It's like 20
It
something,
fits
yeah.
so much in that like tiny little span of time. It almost feels like longer than it actually is. But at the same time, it's short because the music is good. You're entertained the whole time. So, I mean, man, it's awesome, dude. 10. I'll move on to number 7. Number 7, I have Run the Jewels 2. Dylan also had this on his list.
Yes.
And this is a duo album done perfect. Like, a duo between two rappers. I've never heard such flawless trade-off between two rappers. Like, it's almost like they're a whole, kind of,
Yeah, I can
Like
totally see that.
They rap almost as one, and the production is awesome. It's LP, the white guy in the rap group. He produced it. Sorry, it sounds really good. I've got corona, so I can cough but yeah, great production. It's just it's nostalgic for me. It was it really got me into like that kind of rap and stuff. So yeah, I have it at number 7. Number 6, The Carter 2 by Lil Wayne.
Alright.
Now,
Interesting choice.
This, I would definitely say, is the best Lil Wayne album. Lil Wayne just brings his he has complex flows, like wordplay. He always has that, but I feel like this was executed in the right way. Like, there's no cringiness to this. Like, like Lil Wayne can be a little cringy sometimes. And this is just I feel like a straight hip hop album that he did right. So, it's not flawless, but I think it's really cool in my eyes. His hookless flow, that not really any other rapper really duplicates. So, have that at number 6. Number 5, The Blueprint by Jay-Z.
Alright.
I almost put that.
I mean, what can I really say about this album? It's basically like a huge flex on Jay-Z's part. Like, the man is multi-billionaire. He's coming in, sorry, flexing on people like Nas, telling them they scribbled in their notepad and made their life. Like, talking about how, I mean, just having the clout to say Nas is it quoted. He called him garbage on his he's a one-hit wonder, and he just drops these songs. Like, first song, The Ruler's Back. It just sounds like the king coming back to take his crown. Like, it's it's really cool. He's just it's a flex of an album. It's got really good flows, cool production. Like Jay-Z just has a cool style, and I feel like that's his best album in my opinion. So put that at number 5. Number 4, we just shitted on Nas, but Illmatic is number 4. Um, it's a classic hip hop album. I mean, Nas just brings, flawless flows, uh, like East Side as it can get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just like it has the narrative is just cool, like, urban poverty and shit like that. But I don't know how much Nas actually lived through that because Jay-Z did call him out. But nevertheless, like you can't not have Illmatic in your top album. So I've got that on there. Favorite track from that, New York State of Mind.
That was really good.
It goes so hard, bro. Like the flow is just flawless. The beat, it sounds like you're in like urban poverty listening to that song. So yeah,
it says I'm
that's number
sitting
4.
in my house.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So number 3, Good Kid, Mad City.
All right.
Hold up, you haven't said To Pimp
This
a Butterfly yet.
I have not said it yet.
No.
Kendrick, in my opinion, is the best rapper that has ever lived. He has too many classics, bro.
Old heads in
That's
the
a big
comments right
opinion.
now, bro.
That's a big opinion.
Old heads are typing in the
Well,
comments as we speak.
that's not like a super unpopular opinion. Like he has just got the track
It's
record,
a
bro.
pretty unpopular opinion.
That's an unpopular opinion saying Kendrick Lamar is the
Yeah.
best.
A lot of people will say he's the best now, currently, but all time is a pretty unpopular opinion.
Okay, there is no the best of all time.
You can say it as much as you want, but there's no definitive, like, you can't just be like, this is the one.
I would say he's the best right now. But
yeah.
The reason I say that is just like he's so good at what he does, bro. Like he can't miss. Like the To Pimp a Butterfly kind of like solidified him as like, basically like a hip hop god, right? But this Good Kid, Mad City it set him down the path, right? Like I feel like he hadn't peaked yet, but it's nearly flawless. Like, tells him going through struggles basically, and it's like a story of him living through the hell of being in Compton and stuff. And it's definitely really cool. Great flows, awesome songs. There's really something for everyone on this record because you've got, the more like hardcore rap like Shireen, and Art of Peer Pressure, and then you've got the hits like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Swimming Pools, like those are like the party songs, and then you've also got the real hip hop on there. So
I've definitely heard Swimming Pools at a couple
that's
parties.
Number 3. All right, number 2, Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. Dylan had this on his list. Classic West Side hip hop album, always gonna go down as one of the best. Old school as hell, Biggie just brings really good flows. They're just so on beat, and like no one has ever really duplicated his style before. So it's really cool. Like the narrative is depressing, obviously, by the title, Ready to Die. It's kind of suicidal almost. He's basically reflecting on how much of a like actual piece of shit he is the entire album. He's not afraid to say it. Like he basically saying that no one is gonna miss him, like because he's such a piece of garbage, And I mean that it's just like I've never heard anything like it before. It's he's a hip hop icon, and it's what I put on when I want to listen to like some like old school like just pure hip hop. That's what I want to put on. So
yeah,
got that at number 2. Number 1.
What's it gonna
Y'all
be?
already know what I got at
To
number
the
1.
butterfly.
1,000 Gex by 100 Gex. Now hear me out. I was sleeping on this album before. Alright? I've done some... I'm just playing.
I was waiting for the joke to end, but you were going, bro. I was like, hold up.
I was
Yeah,
like, wait.
yeah, you were like... Nah. To Pimp a Butterfly is my number 1. I don't really need to say that much about it. We've already talked about it. It's a flawless record. In my opinion, every single song is a 10. Flawless production. It's got a cool jazzy spin on hip hop that I've never really I'd never heard something like that before. It's just so cool. Like, you know, it every single song hits, you know, great lyricism, poetry, narrative, flows off the charts. Like, I can't even name my favorite song because there's just so many good ones in there. I mean, it goes nuts. I'm sorry, I didn't have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy on.
No.
Like,
It's okay.
yeah, I that was just kind of out of nowhere, but I know y'all are gonna say, like, where's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? It's just not. It's
Well, it's
good.
alright.
It's just
I
not
mean,
my thing.
Sam's here to give the bad opinion, so it's
Bro,
alright.
I just gave a way more detailed list than you did.
He's
bro.
got like half the same albums as we do, but he's got the bad opinions.
Yes.
Yes.
And I gave like reasons to every.
I've got
single
reasons
album,
for
bro.
mine.
Yeah, and I ranked them. It was difficult, bro. Like
This was
there are
hard.
albums that I would like to put in there, but I couldn't say they're like top 10 that I've ever heard. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my list. I would recommend all of those albums.
No.
You've probably heard most of them, but if not all of them. But yeah, that's my list. So,
Okay.
you know, if you want to go ahead.
So, I took a little
Take
bit.
breather. Corona. It's
I took a little bit of a different approach than you did, because instead of like, these are my top 10 favorite albums, it was more of a, personally I think these are the best, and I mean also including like influence. Like if an album was super influential, I gave it points for that, because if it was important for hip hop, I think it should be recognized for that. So
I mean, mine was what I think is the best.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's my opinion. Like,
so
I can't make it.
Some
the
of these-
best.
yeah, some of these aren't like 10s or 9s, but because of like the influence they had on like hip hop and culture in general, it got extra points and got put on this list. So, starting out at number 10, we have the only trap album on my list.
Barter 6.
No, it's an interesting one. Technically, it's not an album. It's a mixtape. Sorry. But,
Lil Pump.
no.
By Lil Pump.
Yes.
This list would be some bullshit.
Dirty Sprite by Future. So, the reason I have that as my number 10 spot is because I like Future. I think he, until like 2016, 2017, he put out consistently good trap albums, and a lot of his stuff is really good. He's made some like classics, and this is a classic mixtape. And I think it is one of the mixtapes that really started trap and hip hop, because it came out in 2011, and like no one had really done anything like this before. So like this mumbly, like leaned out trap, like it was new. So
Because it's bad type music.
almost, but like it's good, but like
Almost.
it's a good album or a mixtape, but it's just the influence it had on hip hop, because it came out in 2011 and like it's 2020 and people are still making music like that, and they're going to continue to make music like that. So like the influence it had gave it a bunch of points on that one.
I'll say something real quick.
Yeah.
You said this is what you think is the top 10 of all time.
Yes, but also including
And you put Future.
I also said influence gave extra points.
I see where Will's coming from on this.
I mean, I personally like if you were gonna make it a personal and not what you think is. I mean, it would be personal either way, but
Yeah.
it's like I don't think Future deserves to be in the top 10 if we're talking like if you're actually trying to say the best
Yeah, but I
hip
just
hop
think
albums.
the way he influenced like the hip hop culture, he deserved a spot.
I see where
Oh
that's
no,
coming from. I
man.
mean, if you
Oh
create an
no.
entire like
Yeah.
genre of music just from a mixtape you drop, I mean, if you'd like kind of
Well,
move
yeah,
towards
but
that, then I
if
can
it
see that
sucks, then it
happening.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't suck though. It's a pretty good mixtape.
I mean, I ain't even heard it. I ain't got
Yeah,
an
I'm just gonna
opinion.
start shitting on it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that
no,
was number
I
10.
just don't. I don't know how you could. Yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
Number 9, everyone's had it. Good Kid, Mad City. I know it's quite a bit lower than most people had it, but there's a lot of albums on here that I just personally think I almost didn't even include this album, but
So
it's my
I can't include it.
it's my favorite Kendrick album, and it's just like it's so good. Like it set Kendrick up. The fact that he can make an album that good and then top it with his next album is just crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and then like it's a really good album. Like there's and then I mean there's no skips. It might not be a 10. Like every song's not perfect, but it's still really good. And I mean, seeing as all three of us had it, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
that got me
good.
saying something
Yeah.
that all three of us have it.
So, number 8, another album that has been said, "Ready to Die" by the Notorious B.I.G. It's just like I'm not a big fan of old school hip hop, like early '90s, mid '90s hip hop. I'm not a big fan. I don't listen to really any of it. But this is one of the few albums from the '90s that I do go back and listen to, pretty often, and it's just like Sam said, it's just like old school, pure hip hop. Like
Yeah,
it embodies
pure
hip hop.
hip-hop.
So, number 7, we got another one coming out of left field.
Oh, he's about to say some bullshit.
So,
Lil Zane.
This is like one of my all-time favorite artists, and personally, this album is a 10 for me. I love this
I
album.
know what it is.
I listen to it every day.
It's about to be tough.
"Care for Me" by Saba.
Whoa, I thought you were about to say all my heroes are cornballs.
No, this is a not. No, I'm going with a different. "Care for Me" by Saba is just like it is a 10. I love every song on the album is good. I love his voice, his flows, the beats he chooses, the features are really good. Like everything about the entire album is solid. So
It is. I can concur. It is a solid. It is definitely a good album. It's one of my dad's favorite rap albums actually, and he's not like super into like the newer kind of hip hop. So
yeah, so I had to get that in there. Originally, I was gonna put it higher, but after I tried to rank them, I was like, "There's no way I could put it any higher than this." So yeah, it's just like it's so good. I love this album. Everyone needs to go listen to it. So number 6, another weird one. Got a lot to do with influence, but also like it's really good. "The Money Store" by Death Grips. And y'all gonna be like, "Oh, Anthony Fantano gave that a 10. You're just copying him." But I'm not. Like, when I first heard this album, I'm not gonna say I was like the biggest fan of it, but first listens always, they can be misleading. So I decided to give it another chance. And on the second listen, I really liked it. Like, because this album came out in 2012, and just like Future, kind of inspired a subgenre of hip hop. Like they like created like noise rap, which I know has some definite misses in it. Like technically 1000 Gex would be noise rap, but also like JPEG
Bro,
Mafia.
are you saying they created noise rap? I'm gonna go. I gotta go put that on my list because if I didn't have 1000 Gex, bro,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do, bro.
So, but like Death Grips is noise rap, and "The Money Store" honestly it's the only album I like by them. But JPEG Mafia is also would be considered noise rap, and I stand JPEG Mafia.
That's just a reach, in my opinion. I don't know.
Basically, if it's not music, it's good. But if it's noise and not music,
Yes.
So
bro.
I just would have put JPEG Mafia on there.
I like this album. Like,
It's I mean, it's not your list. It's his.
is it as good as? It's close to as good as All My Heroes Are Cornballs. I would give The Money Store like a 9, and it's like started a subgenre, so bonus points.
I personally
Can't wait
cannot
for
get
2,000
into Death
gigs.
What'd you say,
Grips.
Sam?
I cannot get into Death Grips, bro. Like I've tried. I can't.
It's
do it,
definitely
bro.
not for everybody. It's definitely very weird, very...
I like JPEG Mafia though. I just like Death
JPEG
Grips for me is almost impossible to listen to.
JPEG Mafia is a very chill version of noise rap, and Death Grips is a very aggressive...
JPEG is chill.
JPEG Mafia is a chill version of noise rap compared to Death Grips. Like, Death Grips is very, like, aggressive. It's like the, like, death metal of, like, rap. Like, they're talking about, like, they're rapping about, like, murdering people, like, but they're, like, screaming it.
That's never...
But not, like...
No rapper has
not
ever
like
said that.
Not like, oh, we pulled up on my street corner while I was selling crack, so I like shot him. It's like I kidnapped him and like tied him up in my basement and like cut him into pieces. Like that's what
like there existed an addiction to blood.
Yes, it's like
album.
that, but like it's like noise rap and aggressive, and it's like
talking about skinning his victims and like pinning them to the wall.
That's what Death Grips is like rapping about. So like. So it's very like, I don't know, it's definitely an acquired taste, but I really like it, so I had to put it on there. So getting into the top 5, we're getting into like the classics that like so many people have on their albums. So number 5, Illmatic by Nas. I mean, what can I really say about this? Like, it's a classic. It's the best, I think I can say with pretty decent certainty, it's the best debut hip hop album like ever. Like, this album is
I mean,
Lil Pump is up
I
there.
can't think of anything off the top of my head. it could be up there. It could be.
It's definitely up there. But I mean, Sam, you really covered it. Like, New York State of Mind is one of my favorite like classic hip hop songs. Like, that song's just awesome. And then the whole album's good. Good rapping, just all around. So definitely had to be on the list. Number 4, we all had this artist, but we all have different albums. Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z is my number 4. I just think it's just such a good album. Like, I really like the Blueprint and I really like the Black Album, but Reasonable Doubt just, it hits different for me. Like, out of all of Jay-Z's albums, I'm listening to it the most.
Is Reasonable Doubt, I'm sorry, I don't know how I don't know this. Is that the one where he's got like the cigar and like the hat? Is that his first one?
Yeah.
His first album?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah,
Oh.
that one is. You could have
Hold
the
up.
Blueprint or that album.
I don't want to say it's his first album and sound stupid, so I'm gonna go make sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's his debut. And
Yes, it is. It's his debut where he's got like the hat with the cigar in his hand. Yeah.
That album is awesome for sure. I just forgot the name of it.
Yeah, it is that one. I just had to make sure it was his first one. So yeah, that's also up there for best debut albums, because that was his debut, and that's a really solid album. That's my favorite Jay-Z album.
If it's above Illmatic, then technically you're.
I guess technically I'm saying it is better.
Yes.
So next we have another OG of hip hop. Okay, this was one of the first really big rap albums that I can think of. I mean, I wasn't around when it came out, but Tupacalypse Now by Tupac.
Alright.
I mean, he's just like, he's an OG. Personally, I like Tupac better than Biggie. I'm like, I know it's a big debate who was better, and personally, I'm a Tupac.
You can't rank them, bro.
You can't. They're both really good.
I personally don't like Tupac very much, but you can't say Tupac sucks or
Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G. sucks.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, most of them were top tier. Like,
So, I really like Tupac's first two albums. The other one is slipping my mind right now. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, I'm not talking about that one. So Tupacalypse Now is just, I went and compared them, and I just thought this one has more of the songs that I like. So, and it's really good. Like, really no misses on it. Like, it's a really good album. Definitely one of my favorite classic hip hop albums. So, we're getting to the top two now, and I think we can. I think we know where this one's going. So,
2 Kanye albums in balance.
no. Number 2 is a Kanye album. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy had to make the list. I just think like new school hip hop since the 2010s. This is easily one of the best. It is a 10, and I'll fight you on that.
I don't know about that.
It is a 10.
It ain't a 10.
It is a 10.
No, I
So,
didn't say anything, bro. You can't. I didn't say shit.
So I really like this album. There's no skips. Like Kanye and like the people who'd work on this album used to go to the studio wearing like tuxes because he wanted to be like flexing while he like recorded this like top tier album. So it's just like the album is a flex because it's like Kanye's greatest album, one of the greatest albums of the 2010s. Just like
Greatest album of 2010.
yes, Fantano 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
So I mean, it had to be on here.
Also, that album is basically like a fuck you to like the whole thing with like Taylor Swift and like, you know, the media
Yes.
basically casting him out. He's just like, that's it, bro. I'm
And then I
drop
just
this
dropped,
shit.
Bro.
Drop this shit. Yeah.
The best diss track I can think of off the top of my head has got to be Famous, bro. And I know that's
Yeah,
technically not
oh
a.
my
I know
God.
that's technically not a diss track, but
But just that
it's
opening,
a diss track. It's
made
just
that bitch
he made that
bang.
bitch famous. So
That's some grip though.
anyway, getting on to number 1.
Taylor Swift is famous.
Getting on to number 1. We all know where this one's headed. It's Total Xanarchy by Lil Xan.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
Finally
I'm just
some
playing. I'm just
bullshit.
playing. Bad Intentions by Nav.
Bro,
Oh,
shut
yeah.
up and play.
I was just kidding. Bad Intentions by Nav. This album is just like, I lied to you guys when I said Dirty Sprite was the only trap because like I wanted to keep it a surprise, but like this album is just like it embodies what trap is meant to be.
You're stealing my
Like,
style, bro.
when
I
it-
did that.
When he said I grabbed on her ass, she called me a perv, spread her
That's
leg.
reckless, not bad intentions.
Is it?
I know my now.
I don't
Like,
even know.
why?
Okay.
No,
Anyway,
because I just know that song is on reckless.
Okay. it doesn't even matter. Number 1
I've
to
never
pimp.
even heard Bad Intentions. I don't.
Is
know.
Bad Intentions even an album?
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
No,
Nav
it's not. It's not, bro.
Nav stands about to be pressed in the comments, bro. That wasn't even a Nav album.
It's bad timing.
It's not. It's perfect timing.
Oh,
Yes, we are Nav stands.
yeah, we know our nav stuff. Yeah, bad timing.
Okay.
And then there's bad habits.
Bad habits. That's what I was thinking of.
Bad intentions.
Shit.
Alright.
Okay. So as I said, number 1 for 100% seriousness, To Pimp a Butterfly. It is the best album of the 2010s.
I thought you just said Kanye.
I said it was one of the best.
Oh.
I would say it's second or third in the 2010s. To Pimp a Butterfly's first. Like it's a perfect album. I don't praise it quite as much as Sam does, but it's still a 10 for me, and it's really good. And
Yeah, every time I say hip hop, Sam's like, bro, To Pimp a Butterfly.
bro, it's just like I find it so hard to top. Like
It is hard to top. I think there are albums that come close, but I don't think anything has. I think it's the best, definitely the best of the 2010s. Like I'm not gonna claim I've heard every hip hop album, but
but like at the end of the day, it's not on a scale. Like it's all just art. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
ranking it is totally stupid, but it's fun. Like you know, it doesn't do anything to rank it. It's basically just a pastime. Like I don't think about my favorite albums as like the top 10 of hip hop albums ever. Like it doesn't work that way. Like
yeah,
It's like saying,
all
no,
just
bro, the
opinion.
Mona Lisa is better than Starry Night. Okay,
Yeah,
now hear me out. Like,
it's like, bro, shut up. Like no one cares. But it's fun. It's fun to talk about your favorites and what you think is the best. So
yeah.
that's why we're doing this.
So this is a shorter episode, but thank you guys for watching. We're gonna have, I don't even know what we're gonna have. We're gonna have like subscribe. It's gonna be on the screen, the bottom corner, right over here.
We're gonna have some guests soon.
We are gonna have next week and the week after. We're having guests, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be great.
if you want to learn how to promote your
music
rapping career,
yes, if you're a SoundCloud rapper, next week is the episode you want to see.
definitely.
And if you like memes and talking about music, the week after that is the episode you're gonna want to see. So
Yes.
subscribe. Let us know in the comments, what is your top 10? What is your favorite? Just let us know in the comments your favorite hip hop albums or album.
Definitely
And
do that. I love seeing that.
yeah,
Other people's stuff.
and we'll see you guys next episode. Thanks for watching.
See y'all.
See ya.